This morning at this conference that's entitled Waking the Sleeping Giant. And I guess you're wondering who the sleeping giant is. The sleeping giant is all of us that have not registered to vote, that if we decide to register and vote, we would have numbers and we'd be the sleeping giant. And we'd be like Rip Van Winkle. When Rip Van Winkle woke up, everything started to change. And so there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us within this state and across this country that's formerly incarcerated, family members and friends that haven't registered to vote. And so this is our first step in a 1,000-mile journey to try to get people to not only register, but actually show up and vote when the time comes.
Hey everybody, Matthew Green here, coming to you from this first statewide conference, Waking the Sleeping Giant. We're excited to have all the Votes family here today. We're talking about organizing, we're talking about how to step into our power, talking about waking the sleeping giant here in Louisiana to create criminal justice reform and create change. Today is going to be a great day. We've got tons of things. We've got speakers. We've already heard some speakers today. We've got breakout sessions focused on organizing. It's going to be a fantastic day and we're excited. Make sure to check us out. Vote statewide conference, Waking the Sleeping Giant. If you're not here, you're going to be here next time. Thank you for coming and we'll see you next time.
Everyone please take a seat. We're about to get started. Welcome to Votes Waking the Sleeping Giant. Think about that for a moment. Waking the Sleeping Giant. Now, by a show of hands, how many of you remember the tale of the sleeping giant? Okay, it's all right. It's okay. The sleeping giant was described as something massive that was lying dormant on an island. Don't let go of that word, lying dormant on an island. Now, we're going to go over some house rules, but we're going to come back to the sleeping giant because we have to wake him up. I said we have to wake him up. Some house rules. The bathroom, men and women, through this door, to my right, you will come to the women's bathroom first and you go down just a little further, that's the male bathroom. And I'll ask everyone to please silence your phone. I'm not going to say do not take a phone call, but if you have a phone call to not be disruptive, can you please just take it out side of the room? And just be respectful of the speakers. Really not nothing hard to do. We can do that.
Amen.
We can do that.
Amen. Amen.
How many of you have just recently been released in the last 2 years? Can you please stand up? Welcome home. I said, welcome home. In this space of solidarity with the rest of your brothers and sisters who have all been there, but we made it out of the belly of the whale. And some of us, like myself, it took some heavy lifting to get me out of prison. Because my rap sheet at 17 years old said L-I-F-E, life. And that was without the possibility of parole or probation. And we know in Louisiana life means life, and that means until you die. But some things happened along the way, and it took 26 years, 2 weeks, and 5 days, but I'm standing here. There's someone that I want to honor today. He's en route. Henry Montgomery. He's en route. When this juvenile bill, and forgive me if I start crying, because for a long time I couldn't cry because I couldn't show no signs of weakness. All right, I had to put on this facade. So if I start crying, that's okay. We're just gonna get past the eyeballs sweating. All right. Henry Montgomery, when this juvenile bill came into play, they were looking for an individual to take to the Supreme Court, of course, to win this situation, this law. There were 2 individuals that went prior to Mr. Montgomery. And I can't blame them, but they took the deal and walked after 20-some years. Mr. Montgomery, after serving 50 years, they took his case to the Supreme Court. They offered him a deal. And he said, you can close my cell. Because I know that this is just not about me, but this is going to help thousands. And I'm going to fight this. And because he fought this, he wasn't released until about 800 plus people were released before him. He's on his way. But I believe in acknowledging people because that's rare. To actually be a sacrifice and knowing where you are incarcerated, knowing where you are, that's a big stake. That's something big to ask somebody when he made that sacrifice. And I'm one in thousands of juvenile writers on the behalf of him. Thank you. Woo! Right now, we're going to show a video of who Vote is. I didn't find out until maybe 9 months of coming on with Vote how intricate they were into me being released. Vote has many moving parts, and just as to everything, everything has a beginning. But in the heavy lifting of Vote has been able to pass laws that many of us out here can identify with. Let's look at the video. I remember when I was released, and I know my nationality is no question here. I got a job at Zora's Greek and a Mexican restaurant. And so many months after that, I just felt like I should have been doing more. And I remembered what I told my brothers and sisters that I left behind. And I have often been offended because in me trying to elevate the voices of the women, people that are incarcerated, I have been asked, why don't you just go on with your life? What that look like? What that mean? And I was offended because somebody's strength and tenacity and will to fight for me, I have to pay it forward. See, I don't have the luxury, I don't have the option to just keep walking and don't remember the people that I slept beside and borrowed a noodle, a cup of sugar till my money cleared, or heard stories in prison, went through debts, we consoling each other. I can't forget that. I won't forget that. This next person, following someone, led me to prison with a life sentence, and I vowed not to do that anymore. I vowed not to do that anymore. But there is someone here today, not just in my eyes, the staff eyes in Louisiana, but around this country, is respected as a leader, as the epitome of a leader. There have been times that I was in turmoil. I did not have the answers. And when I went to him for advice, he was so calm, but that calmed my soul. And not only do I respect him, I trust him. I trust his judgment. I have seen him under the fire. I have seen him under many attacks, but I have also seen him glide, not stride, glide through all of them with formerly incarcerated people on the forefront. It takes someone courageous and strong enough to be able to do that. Because when you're going through trials and tribulations, not because of you, but because you're fighting for somebody else, it's hard not to look to the left or the right. And today, not just in Louisiana, but around this country. And I want to present him with an award because an eagle soars high. An eagle soars high, but they soar with purpose. And so Mr. Norris Henderson. Many of us don't really know what goes into advocacy, what goes into bringing laws about, the sleepless nights, everything that you put into the giving of yourself. And a lot of times we just have to tell somebody, thank you. Thank you, not on the behalf of me, but thank you on the behalf of everyone that you have led major movements. And the award is an eagle sitting on top of the world, but it says, the epitome of a leader, Norris Henderson. Thank you. Now, Mr. Norris, can you tell us, how do we build political power?
First of all, thank you. Thank y'all. And thank everybody for coming. First, I love watching movies. And I don't think there's a group I ever watched that they haven't taken a line or something from. And so so as people were coming in, and I was talking to somebody in the hallway, and they said, man, folks are showing up. And I thought about this line in the Shawshank Redemption, where Andy and Ray sitting in the yard. And no, I take that back. Andy has escaped, Andy got out, Ray got out, Ray found the money Andy left him. And Andy left him a note. And he said, if you've come this far, we'll be willing to come this far. And so that's my ask of y'all. Y'all come this far. I mean, not just for in the sense of y'all personal circumstances, but y'all come from all over the state to be here. And so I'm asking, if you've come this far, are you willing to go there further? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us being able and willing to go there further. We've come a long way. It seems like it's been an eternity, but it hasn't been. I mean, this journey for some of us, for me personally, this journey started almost 50 years ago. And it started inside the prison wall out there to kind of like just understand the law. And realizing that unincarcerated people had the right to vote if they got out. And so I kind of like started kind of being the Pied Piper or the Paul Revere of this message, trying to share this message with everything and everybody. But I think the thing that's most significant to this more than anything else is that it's kind of like something I would say also. And that I made a commitment to myself and I made a commitment to God that if I was blessed to get out of that place, I wouldn't forget where I came from and all the people I left behind. One of the people that's in the room and I saw him who was coming inside was one of the last people I talked to on the day when I was getting ready to leave the prison. And that was Lee. Lee, the dad, was in the cell block, and I said, I gotta go see him before I leave. And I told him with tears in my eyes that God will not forget you. That was 21 years ago. And so 21 years later, man, I haven't forgot y'all. And I'm still doing everything that thank God has blessed me to do. Because I'm just a vehicle that this thing is moving through. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I ain't gonna say I'm pretty like others. But no, this is a journey, man. This is a journey. We don't have a destination. We're on a journey. And that journey takes us a lot of places. To see all the folks in this room, man, that we have in some shape, form, or fashion played a part of kind of like helping get them in this room, it's commendable in itself. That's my reward. You know, so when people, the Lord there, that's fine and dandy, but y'all my Lord. Y'all my Lord. Every time I see one of y'all, I know your personal circumstances, I know that struggle's like, and I'm like, yeah, God has been good to me.
Yes, sir.
So when folks say, man, different things, I'm like, no, I can't complain about nothing, man.
Yes, sir.
God has been good to me. It's good for me in the way that it's helped me to do this work. And so, I can go into detail about a lot of stuff about why we need to build this power. We need to build this power so we can have a whole bunch more of us sitting in these rooms. Is what this electoral power looks like that calls all of us to be in this room. Either be us through getting the government elected, who signed some of y'all pardons, getting your parole board that was put in place to release a lot of y'all with parole, getting Jason Williams put in office in order that got y'all completely released out of prison. All those things go back to that one real thought about, you know what? We have a right to vote, man. If we do something with it, we can build political power. And this is a testament to what that looks like. So I'm going to ask one question. If you got out through 2045, stand up. If you got out through juvenile life, get parole, have to go and stand up. If you got out through the pardon board, stand up. If you got out through the pardon board, you got a parole, so you still stand up. This is what that looks like. This is what that power actually looks like. And I ain't gonna ask people to say how long they've been tell us. If you're 2045 and you stayed in prison 20 years, 45 years of age. If you got out because of the geriatric life bill, you did 40 years. Those are 20 and 40-year life. So I know how long you stayed in prison. But that's how long we've been working. That's how long we've been struggling, man, to change this stuff. And sometimes people don't know the struggles. And I remember me, Chico, and Brian Stevenson, and a few other people, we went there and go to meet with the juvenile lifers. Because at this time, we was talking about 35 years for parole eligibility. And I was like, no, we're going to talk to them and find out what they want. And I remember talking to DC and talking to Sean and then asking them, what do y'all want, bro? What do y'all, tell us what y'all want, that's what we're going to try to get. And it was like, bro, anything other than this 35 or the 30. I said, give me a number, we're going to try to get it. And he said, if we can get 25, we can kind of like live with that. And so when this bill was in committee, Bruce wasn't with us, but Bruce wrote a letter. And me and Chico showed up in the committee. Everybody was about to sign on the dotted line for the 35 years. And me and Chico put in red cards for me, him, and Bruce. And when Dan Claver, the state senator, said, hey, Chico and Orange, I got a red card and we run out of agreements. We said, no, we oppose this bill. He said, y'all come up here and tell me why. And so we went up and told them why, that it wasn't fair for a juvenile to do more time in prison than an adult. Why a juvenile had to do 35 years when we come out of parole, and an adult just had to do 20. And so Peter Adams, who was over the VA Association at that time, said, oh, we had a gentleman agreement. And one of the senators up there said, well, I wasn't a part of that agreement. And in that moment, we realized then the impact that we could have. It was that letter that Bruce wrote, and us saying in detail of why it was not fair to treat juveniles differently than we treat adults. But in that moment, we pushed back on everything and everybody in that room. Because even the people who say they were there to help, they was comfortable with the 35 years. But none of them had ever served a day in prison. And the difference is lived experience has its benefits. And in that moment, we paid it off. And that's what we have in this room. So when I'm asking this lived experience to kind of like start getting engaged, to really start getting engaged. And where we at, you know, because we know when we're inside, some of us just sit on our bed and just wait for something to happen. Some of us maybe become a little bit more active, and now we went to the law library, just to drop your papers off to somebody. And then some of us actually got on the phone and called home and asked mom and dad, sister and brother, I need y'all support to get something done. But for y'all in this room, y'all really stepped up and y'all showed up. And this is what's going to take. It's going to take all of us, each one of us, each one reach one, teach one. We have to kind of like keep this thing going. Everybody been saying, no, this is not a personality-driven thing. This is not a Norris thing. This is our thing. This is about building solidarity. I just happen to be the person who shook the sleeping giant, and he started to yawn. You need to wake him up. Because if we see all the stuff that's going on around us, that's particularly targeting us, we need to wake up. We need to wake up quick. And if you look at that sleeping giant has everybody on it. It's not just from incarcerated people. Incarcerated people, it's our neighbors, it's our friends, it's our significant others. It's everything and everybody. And we the linchpin. We are the linchpin to this thing. And I tell folks all the time, and I want to give a shout out to Terrence, he is somewhere. Terrence went. Terrence reached out to kind of show the power, man, that we actually build. Terrence reached out because there was a sheriff election in Shreveport. The opportunity for the first time in the history of that parish to elect a black person as sheriff. Henry Whitehorn won by one vote. We always tell people every vote counts.
Yes, sir.
But the opposition wasn't satisfied with the outcome, so they asked for a recount. He did a recount, each one of them picked up 3 additional votes, but he still won by one vote. And then they were still upset, and so they got them to invalidate the election, or call another election. And terrorists would come in and join them for Shreveport. It was on the ground trying to get this guy elected. And so they asked for help, and we kind of like about 14 of us went up there, and I mean it was cold as hell that day. And we canvassed in Shreveport all day, pushing, trying to, in the importance of our folks showing up. And in March, our folks showed up. And when they showed up, he didn't win by one vote. He won by 4,000 votes. One spot to the next, one spot to the next. And throughout the course of this day, there will be a conversation about what's going on in your community. What you see that you want to change. And the change starts with us. So I'm not y'all to say one thing, just repeat after me. If it's to be, it starts with me.
It starts with me.
Mr. Montgomery has showed up. Who ministers from the law? Who's on juvenile life? Please stand up. Can you come present him with this award, please? Mr. Montgomery, can you please stand up? Because of this man right here, thousands around the country are released. Thousands. It's only affected 29 states for 5,000 people.
No surrender! No retreat! No surrender! No retreat! No surrender! No retreat!
I guess I'm going to be here to look good, but I don't know what else. I guess I did, so I don't know. Everyone knows. So I'm glad to be here. They're awesome and twisting things, trying to find out how to get there. They got all around the world, that's that there, I'm going to find out that God knows, I'm a God. Yeah. So everything I could, I can. I go back and I God that I go and get behind. God that I son of God has been down through it all the time every year. But just think, awful man, just forget about it. But we don't have time to try to help. But most people got better rules to global things. I'm glad, you can do it. Anything I could do. All right.
And the award says, thank you for being rare. Because it's not every day you find people that are willing to risk themselves for others. This next person, our deputy director, tell you what I love about Bruce. You to figure out what side the fence he on. And Bruce sometimes is like a quiet storm, y'all. He didn't know I was going to say this, but he sits in that office and he be on that computer just reading. And he knows, we know, don't bother Bruce, he on to something. He on to something. But he's loyal to both. He's committed to the work, and he is devoted to formerly incarcerated people, making laws, building laws, advocating at the legislative session. You'll see Bruce all year round, back and forth, testifying. And regarding what I love, I'm learning from him. Because all the time when you're sitting in front of the legislative session, they're not nice. But Bruce handled them accordingly and in a respectable manner. But the way he handled it, I'm learning from it. So help me welcome our Deputy Director.
Why is it important to build political power, and what is the most challenging thing when building political power?
So she asked, why is it important to build political power, and what is the most challenging thing in building political power? Well, you know, the other day I was thinking about something, and you know, the Martin Luther King quote about the arc of humanity, right? What does it do? It bends towards justice. But it doesn't bend on its own. It bends because we bend it, right? And so we bend it towards justice. We're not the Democratic Party, we're not the Republican Party, we're the opposition party. And when you're under a system of Jim Crow, or the legacy of Jim Crow, if you're not in opposition, you're just compliant with it, right? And so we need to be in opposition constantly, vigorously. And so when we build political power, you know, there's ways of moving those levers, right? And we touched on it earlier about all the different parts of vote. And when you really try to figure out how this machinery works and how they elect people to make decisions or they appoint people to make decisions, and sometimes there's public comment, but where is the public, right? We know that there's insiders that take advantage of the situation, but us outsiders don't get privy to when this decision is being made. And so we undermine their whole system by trying to peel the wool back, and then we look and see what's going on underneath, and we shine the light on it, right? Transparency is what really makes the heart of darkness go away. And so we bring all that to light, and we show up places, and our ability to now put things out through our communications, through our policy teams, through our members, our social media, right? So we can educate people about what's happening in this state, in this country, so people are not having the wool pulled over their eyes, right? And then we can show up the same way that people showed up here today. We've got the legislative sessions, right? They want to keep coming back, trying to slip laws in on us, right? We've got the elections where they want nobody to show up and vote, right? Where they're happy when 20% of the people show up and vote. Only 14% of the state actually voted for the Secretary of State, who's in charge of elections. And you can win with that. But now think about that. It only takes 14% of the state to show up and win a statewide election. Well, over the years, they've locked up over 14% of the state. So we're actually in a pretty strong position as the opposition party. Between ourselves, our friends, our neighbors, our families, we actually have a big block of folks if we can come together and if we can build these centers of power. Right? We've got 7 cities in this state. We've got Monroe and Shreveport, Alexandria, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Right? We can get our people in these pockets and we can grow out from there. We can come together when there's a thunderclap and we can move mountains. Right? And so we fight them in the courts. We fight them in the streets. We fight them in the suites. We show up and make them uncomfortable. We remind them of what they don't want to hear when they're saying all this BS. Right? And we counter that. And we do our homework, and we say, well, here's the actual facts. Some of you don't want to talk about facts no more, right? They say the crime rates are rising, they're not rising. They say the hurricane's going to go this way because the Sharpie says so, right? They always want to make up their own facts, but we're there to tell them what the truth is. that's why I love doing some homework. And I know a lot of y'all love doing homework too. And then we try to present it in a way that's digestible, a way that's real for our people. And then we win hearts and minds. Because really we're in a culture shift, right? We're bending that arc. We're bending towards justice. Thank you.
Our next presenter, Miss Consuela Gaines. Miss Consuela and I served over 20 years together in prison. 20 years together. In fact, she was the one who navigated the tool to help bring me on with both. Because I was cooking in a restaurant. But she called my phone one day and said they're looking for an organizer in Baton Rouge. I said, well, what is that? She said, girl, go see. Just go do the interview. I said, okay. The first thing when I went did the interview, they brought me on for a few days probation, in the probation period, right? The first thing they give me is a computer, something I was scared of. And I was honest enough, being around them, I was honest enough to tell them, listen, I had to fight in prison as a lifer to get in class. Certain things they let, I don't really know how to use this.
It's all right. It's all right.
They said, this okay, we're gonna teach you.
Yes. My God.
I love her. And I feel like I'm right where I belong because something that I care about so much, those that I left behind, even in my shortcomings, not being judged, given a platform to really elevate some things that I'm concerned about, and even in my shortcomings. So Sway is the one who helped me get there. Miss Consuela Gaines is about to give us some food for thought. Which sleeping giant are you? Good morning, beautiful people. It is so good to see all of you today. As I said, I wanted to kind of share with you guys about something that I feel like was divine. God just telling me about the 4 stages of the sleeping giant, and I believe you have it in your folders and your packets about these 4 stages. I was just in the office one day and he just was giving it to me, and I started writing. I was like, okay. He said, yeah, the first stage of a sleeping giant. He's asleep. Now this is people when we come home, we've regained our freedom, we had our little first meal. Mine was at IHOP. I love breakfast. I went to IHOP at midnight. I'm free. And I'm like, okay, so I'm out. But am I awake? No, I'm asleep. Because I didn't really know which direction I wanted to go in. What I really wanted to do. So I was still kind of asleep. Just happened to be home, not really thinking about anyone other than myself. Trying to reconnect to my family. So I'm pretty much still asleep. The second stage is one eye open. That's kind of me saying, okay, I'm awake halfway. I see what Vote got going on. I see what these other organizations have going on. I see people coming home. I'm home. But I'm not really focused on any of that. I could care less. But I see you with one eye. And you just pretty much go on the daily schedule, not really thinking of anything in particular. The third stage. This giant is sitting on the side of his bed with both feet on the ground, contemplating, thinking about, look, if it wasn't for 2045, I wouldn't be where I am. And I know when I was inside, I used to tell people, I'm not going to forget you. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to help you get home. You made all kinds of promises to people before you left, right? You told your bunkie, your roommate, your cellmates, oh man, I'm going to look out for you. And you're sitting there and you're thinking about all these promises that you made, and you're wondering, how am I going to live up to those promises? You're contemplating. How can I fit into what I see folk doing? I see them. I know where their monthly meetings are. You're contemplating. But look, I got a busy schedule. I'm working. I'm trying to take care of my family, make sure all my parole fees are paid. I got all these bills. I don't have time to be going to no folk meeting once a month for a couple hours. But you're thinking about it. You're contemplating, wondering how you can get in and fit in. And that final stage is that giant standing up. You know, y'all remember we used to get ready to get into a fight? You run to the room, put your tennis shoes on, you lay some things up so tight so you have grip. You swinging them things. So you stand up on side of the bed like, I'm in this. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm about to fight this clown. I'm ready. So that final stage of that giant is him standing up and saying, yeah, Lars, put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever it is that I need to do. I'm in this. Count me in. Put me in, coach. So that is the final stage. So you've heard these stages of this giant. 1, he sleeps. 2, he's got one eye open. 3, he's sitting on the side of his bed with both of his feet on the floor contemplating. And 4, he's standing in. He's standing up, saying, put me in. I'm ready. I don't need you to answer. Where are you? Which stage are you at? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Think about it. And not just you, the people that's in your circle. What stage are they in? I'm sure you can identify a sleeping giant at stage number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Think about who those people are. Write them down on your worksheet. And you'll be able to reach out to them after this conference to pull them in. Thank you.
One thing about life, things happen. We all the time, sometimes we make plans and things don't all the time go according to what we planned. Lunch is coming. So what we are going to do, because we are people that know how to shift when it's time to shift, right? So we're going to take a 5-minute break. We can mingle, take a break. We're going to come back. Lunch is going to be served around 12:30. When we come back from break, we should be getting our lunches. Then we're going to break off in the breakout session room. Look at your card. It tells you should have been told what breakout sessions you're going to be in. Room 1 and 2 is over here, and this is the Greater New Orleans area. And 3 and 4 is going to be over here. And they're going to direct you according to regions, which room you're going to be in. So right now, right now we are going to take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we'll get our lunch, and then we're going to break out in sessions. Room 4, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Shreveport, Central, Louisiana. You're in breakout room 4. Group 3, Baton Rouge, North Shore, west of Slidell. You're in breakout room 3. Group 1, Greater New Orleans, East Bank, and Slidell. You're in group 1. Breakout room 1. Breakout room 2, Greater New Orleans, Algiers, Jefferson Parish, and St. Bernard. You're going to be in breakout room 2. We have a good bit to unpack in the breakout rooms. But after coming out these breakout rooms, we're going to be, I love what's going to be unpacked in there, but it's going to break down civic engagement and a whole list of things. Give the speakers your undivided attention. In your badge, you have journals. Take notes. If you have questions, ask them. But when we have the questions, we're going to try to come back to the larger room and answer the questions from group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. And your name tags may say something different, but just go to where your region is. Is everyone clear on that? Do you need me to re-announce that?